Okay, Sanjeet, are you good to go?
Yeah, Melissa, I'm good.
Okay, so it's 2 minutes after. I want to welcome everybody to the Atlanta, Georgia Developer Group meeting. Uh, this is going to be presented by Sanjeet with Kizzy Consulting about exploring Salesforce Einstein Bots. Um, the I'm the Atlanta, Georgia Salesforce Developer Group leader. Um, and I'm very, very happy to have Sanjeet presenting for us today. I'm going to let him take over the sharing and start his presentation. So hang on.
Thanks for the introduction, Melissa. I'm having a slightly bad throat, so apologies for my turbulent voice today.
Oh, no, that's fine. The other thing I wanted to mention is Sanjeet would appreciate if I collect all questions and we go over them at the end so that he's not interrupted during his presentation. So put them in the chat and I'll make sure we get back to them.
Sounds good. So I'll just share my screen and I will kick off.
Should let you share your screen.
Let me know if it's visible.
I'm not seeing it yet.
Got it. Is it visible
Oh,
now?
there it is now. Yep, there we go.
Sounds good. So I usually prefer a Google Deck. I'll start the presentation from here. Is the presentation visible, Melissa?
Yes,
Sounds good. So are we good to go? Shall I start?
please go ahead.
Sounds good. So first of all, thanks everybody for joining us on a working day and taking out time. So I'll just start with a quick introduction of Salesforce Einstein Bots, and then we'll dive some bit on the use cases, various types of bots out there. Then I'll show you a demo of an existing bot that I've already created. Post that, I'll also do a step-by-step implementation of a small use case basis Einstein Bots. Bear with my turbulent voice today. I'm having a bad throat. So I'll just start with a quick introduction. I am Sanjeet Mahajan. I am founder and CEO at Kizzy Consulting. I am also the chief architect, and I am also a developer at heart always. I love exploring new things, especially into the world of Salesforce. I'll help you with Salesforce Einstein Bots today. You can reach out to me on Twitter. Here are my Twitter and LinkedIn handles out there. So the first step towards the Einstein bots is what are bots? I think we come across bots each day, probably while shopping or maybe reaching out to a customer care or maybe various other things, right? In fact, yesterday I was scrolling through the Nike website and I found out that they also use Salesforce bots and Salesforce Einstein bots, and it was pretty cool to see how they engage with their clients for various use cases. Maybe it is ticket collection and other things as well. So what are chatbots to start with? Chatbots are basically software applications that are designed to simulate human conversations. They help us reduce our human efforts, and the simple queries and FAQs can be responded by bots 24/7. So that is wherein bots come handy. They can respond via text as well as via voice across various platforms. So that is what basically the bots are. I think everybody is pretty much used to using bots these days. So talking about Einstein bots, there are like multiple types of bots there, primarily standard bots and enhanced bots. So as everybody is aware of, these natural language processing and AI these days. So enhanced bots is something that, incorporates NLP, which is natural language processing, along with intent sets. It is also a multi-level. It supports kind of multi-level conversations. It supports complex dialogue flows. You can use Apex, and it has pretty advanced intent recognition as well. While the standard flows are for basic functionalities, you can easily deploy and build those bots for simple use cases. So these are the two types of flows. Today, I'll focus slightly more towards the enhanced bots, but will not cover the intent side of things there. So coming to the use cases, this is kind of very important because we should all know why we use bots and how instant bots can help in day-to-day activities, and also maybe increase revenue or at least reduce the cost for human efforts to the organization who are building these. So the first use case, which is pretty common, is customer support automation. So instant bots can provide you round the clock customer support by asking and answering frequently asked questions. They also guide users for troubleshooting steps or assisting in order tracking and things like that. You can also, suppose you have some queries, you can just reach out to the bot, ask them the questions, or ask them your order status and things like that. That can easily be answered by a bot. This also helps in case deflection. It reduces the kind of efforts and the workload on the service reps out there. This is one of the common use cases. And then moving on, we have sales assistance. Similar to the case deflection, we also have like lead qualification. The bot can engage with potential customers on your websites or maybe other digital platforms like text, Facebook, or WhatsApp, and you can communicate with your clients. uh, Client will understand and ask questions from the bot, and it can also recommend some products to your customers, and it saves a lot of effort for the sales guys, and they have kind of a data they can use to understand what customers actually wants. Then we have order management. So order management is another amazing feature, that bots can usually help with. Like I mentioned, right, I was on a Nike website couple of days ago, so I was planning to track my order, and the bot really helped me track my order status and when it will be delivered and shipped. So this comes in handy. You can also modify your orders and do lot of stuffs. And these are basically very limited use cases. I've put it out there in my deck, but usually you have a lot of cases out there. We have implemented it for more than a dozen of our customers already. So a lot of different use cases we have gone through myself. Now moving forward, that was pretty much it from a deck perspective. I'll just move on to the demo, and we will start with the hands-on implementation and understand what are bots and how we can configure it. A couple of things before we dive into the demo. Prerequisite, for learning Einstein bots is you should know omni-channel. So if you know the basic omni-channel setup, then you should be good for today's demo. So I'll just walk you through the demo firstly of a bot that I've already created, and then we can go through and see how we can create one. So this is the bot that I've created. I'll just go on preview. I'll do a text preview out there, and let's say, so this is basically a case deflection bot. What it is doing is it is asking me my email. It will search all the cases corresponding to my contact, and then it will give me a list of cases. I can select which case I want to look at, and then it will tell me the status of that case. And I can also create a new case, so it has two options out there. So let me start with it. So I typed hi, it says I'm Kizzy, a digital assistant. The first option is inquire about existing cases, or you can create a new case. So let's inquire about an existing case. It says, can you enter email address to help us look at your cases? So let me do that. It kind of gives me the case numbers associated to my email, and I can probably select any. Let's select the first one. That is. So it says the case status is new, so the work has not been started yet. And let's dive into the system and see what's the status out there. So this is the case. AC is damaged, and the status out there is new. So it is kind of dynamic and pulling in details from our system. If you want, it also so I've created it in such a way that it asks, can I help you in any other way? If you say yes, it will give you three more options. You want to go to the main menu, you want to transfer to an agent, or you want to end the chat. Let me demo a transfer to the agent as well. Let me pull up the actual embedded app. So this is my, the web chat. Let me go on the test mode, and I can show you the transfer to the agent stuff here as well. So this is for those who are pretty new to omni-channel. This is the omni-channel widget. You can just go and put yourself available out here, and here you can say hi. This can be deployed. This bot can be deployed to any website or anywhere else. It can also be connected to a WhatsApp, a Facebook, or maybe a text as well. So I will say inquire about my case, and I'll just reiterate the steps here. I'll say one. It has given me the status. Now I'll say yes, and let's transfer to the agent. See out here, the and I can easily chat. So this is basically a Salesforce service rep logged in, and this out here, where it is, sorry, and this is the customer speaking. So I can easily go out here and say, hey, Sanjeet this side, and this kind of response here. So this is how you can use the bots for initial conversations, and if customer wants to visit or speak to an agent, they can also speak to an agent. And then in a similar way, we can also create a case. I won't demo it now. Now I'll kind of walk you through various aspects of Einstein bots. So if you see out there are like around maybe 7 of these. So we will go through each of them, and I'll walk you through all. So let's start with overview. This is kind of heart of bot. I would say all the configurations happen here. Now, this bot is an enhanced bot. You can see the type here, right? The name of the bot is Keezy, API name. Then you can have a description, whatever you want to give. Then the language is English, last modified date, last modified by, and then it says conversational languages, which is English. And then you can also add some connections here. If you're using a standard bot, you can use this connection to map it out to your chat. I'm using a messaging session here, so it works slightly differently. I'll demo that as well. Then you have this inbound omni-channel flow. This is basically the flow which routes the chat to this bot. I'll demo this as well in a bit. And then we have bot delayed response. The default is 1.2 seconds. Let me show you. Can we change it? And if you want to custom, you can as per your organization standards, you can change it as well. So for now, I'm keeping it to default. Then we have these log conversations. So log conversations means you want to store all the conversations that the bot is having. And secondly, it also helps you enable the event logs. Event logs help you debug the bot, and in case of any errors, it kind of shows up that, hey, at which spot is the error. So event logs are here under performances. You can see all the event logs out here. So we'll dive deeper into this one also in a bit. Then we have bot user. So bot has a basic chatbot user, but that is not a recommended option. It comes free of cost. But if you have a spare user and you can purchase a user, then a bot user should be the one with the maximum access. So I've used my user for now, and this is also the recommended approach by Salesforce. Then we have outbound omni-channel flow. So this is basically, if you want to route the chat back to an agent, this is where this comes in handy. And this is kind of pretty much pre-configured by Salesforce, so you don't need to do anything. It is just a point and click format, so don't get confused with this one. Then we have intent enhancements. This is like cross-lingual intent model. You can train your bot into intent sets and intents, and then this is how it works. I will not dive too much into this one. We'll just give an overview of this. So this was pretty much what is under the overview of the bot information. Now, moving to dialogues, this is where all the logic happens. This is kind of the brain, right? So all the logic happens here. We'll dive into this a little bit later once we start creating the dialogues. So I'll skip this one for now. Then we have entities. These are pretty much close to data types. You can call it like Boolean, text, date, time. You can also create a custom entities. I'll show you one. So let's say you want to create maybe say country or maybe color, right? So you can go ahead and then you have two options. One is pattern. If you want to have a regex, you can put the regex here, and whenever the customer inputs, it has to match the regex. So you can validate the data from there. If you have some values, you can select values and then save it out. Oh, I think I've already created one. Okay, so yeah, I've already created one. You can just simply create that, and then you can add the values from here. That is green, red, or whatever colors you want, so that customer cannot input any color that he wants probably, and he can only enter a few values out there. So that is how you can use intents. Sorry, entities. And then we have variables. This is pretty standard. So we have three types of variables. One is context variable, which comes in handy whenever a chat is routed to a bot. It kind of fetches in the contact ID, end user ID, the routable ID, and these things. So basically, let me show you. Suppose this is the chat, right? And if the contact ID is present here, in this case I don't think it is there, but if contact ID is present here, then it kind of displays it out here in the contact ID. So or sometimes you have custom requirements, you write a trigger or maybe a flow to populate the contact basis certain pre-chat form or something, that kind of auto populates here. And for example, what we did is we configured one of the WhatsApp integrations using the bots for one of our clients, and they had a requirement that we need to track the contact basis the mobile number. So we auto tag the contact ID, and that used to populate the contact ID to the bot, using which we used to fetch all the cases and things like that. So this is pretty useful. Then we have custom variables. You can create your own variables to store the information. We'll create these in the demo and the implementation steps to follow. Then we have system variables. System variables are something like last customer input. Then a bot ID. Bot ID is also very useful in terms of debugging and if you want to know where the conversation is heading to. So these are the system variables you can use in case you want to use them inside the bot. Then following the variables, we have goals. So this is also pretty important and a nice feature to have. So basically, once you implement a bot, you don't know where the customer is going maximum number of the times, or is he like being redirected to the main menu? Is there an error? You can track those. So using goals, you can simply go here, enter your goal. Say I'll say main menu, right? And let me select main menu from here and hit save. So what it will do is it has created a goal and it will populate the count. Suppose I or any customer like visited 5 times to the main menu, it will show up 5 here. So it can help you track the performance of your bot, and you can improve your bot subsequently. If it is going to the error page a lot more, that means it is too buggy and you need to fix it. So this is where the goals come in handy. We have used it a couple of times in the past, and it provides great result if you track it. So next is the performance section of it. So performance has a dashboard. You can go to the App Exchange, or you can connect your Analytics Studio here, or download the apps from App Exchange for dashboard, and you can use it. Then we have event logs. Event logs is very helpful in terms of debugging. It is not that matured yet, I would say, but still, helps you debug. So, for example, if you see this tick out here, it shows errors. This means that this particular session had an error. So, if I click on it, it shows you the entire detail, starting a new session, sending a message, then redirecting to the main menu, a welcome note, what the customer has inputted, and things like that. So you can see the error is out here, and then you can click on it and give you a event or an error. This was something related to, I think, access. So it gives you weird errors as well. This is not too matured, but still it helps you debug. Then we have model management. This is more of intent sets and training your bot, building your models. And if you want to train your bot, you can just simply go here and add the intents and intent sets, and then reclassify, ignore, classify, and categorize those. I have not worked pretty heavily on this, just exploring this one, so I won't dive deeper into this for now. So now moving back to dialogues, let's create a new bot and test it out. So it's pretty simple to create a bot. You can go here, type in bot. You'll be redirected to an Einstein bot. Click on new, and we'll go with the enhanced bot for now. Start from scratch. Let's say easy bot, and the language is English. It asks you for 2 3 menu items. These menu items are the ones which show up on the beginning. So let's say inquire about an existing case, or probably create a new case. I'll hit next. Here, it asks you if you want to create an inbound and outbound flows. So I'll select, yeah, they can create new. It automatically creates the two flows. Hit next. I'll click on proceed. So it will create the custom dialogues and a couple of backend things. And once you click on finish, it's done. Before we start this, I'll just show you, how these flows are working. So I have used a messaging web. So I created this channel, the web channel, and over here you can see omni-channel routing. I have selected omni-channel routing type as omni flow, and then you can give the name of the flow. It says route to Kizzy. Kizzy is the name of the bot, and it also has a fallback queue. And if I take you to the flow, it it is a standard feature, and it simply routes you to the bot name. You can put the bot name out here, and then it also asks you for a fallback queue. You can provide that queue, and if the bot fails, it will redirect automatically to this queue. So this is about it. Great. Back to our bot. So we'll kind of replicate what I had just demoed. We'll ask the customer for their email, and then once the email is with us, we'll query the cases and fetch the list of the cases, and then ask the customer to select the case and then provide the status. So if you see out here, there are multiple components. You can upload a file, you can put out a message, you have a couple of things under questions: dynamic questions, static questions. Then you have messaging components, authentication. Lot of things are out there. You can explore it. But primarily today we'll be creating a basic flow. So we'll use flows and the questions and messages primarily. So let's start with a question. We'll say enter your email is associated with the case, and then it will be a static choice. And so entity name, it asks you what is the data type. So we will keep it to text, and it says answer to be saved in. I'll create a new variable. Let's call it email and save it out. So it also asks you, skip questions and use a distinct value. No, I still want to override the value. So I'll just select this one, save it. Now, once we have the email, we want to, call a flow. So I'll call a flow. I've already created one. I'll just use that, and I'll also show you what that flow is doing. So it says get case. We'll pass in. So these are the input. Email is the input variable in the flow, and I'm just inputting the email that we have just inputted from the client, and then outputs the flow returns me a list of cases. This is the one I want. So if there are multiple cases, we'll probably be using this one, and then it also returns the case object. This will be helpful in the future. I'll show you how. Let me save it first and then create a variable. I'll create a custom variable and call it case list, and then I'll select it as an object, contains a list, and save. Let's go back to the dialogues, go back to our flow, and select the case list variable out here. If you see, it displays the data type. So it says list of cases. That's the reason we created a list of object. And then we'll create another variable for storing the case. So we can create a variable directly here. We can call it case object or case obj, and then save. So now what we have done is we are inputting the client with an email, and then we are using that email, passing it to our flow, and then fetching the list of the cases which are open and which belong to those particular email. So this is the flow. This is pretty simple flow. It queries on the case. It matches the email which is inputted with the contact email on the case, and checks status is not closed. That's pretty much it. And then it puts a record into this collection variable, and these three fields is what we are storing: a case number, subject, and status. This is all we need, and it kind of and these variables are output variables. So this is available for output. So it returns the details to the bot. Mm, yeah. So now moving on. Now we have the list of cases. Now we'll just apply a small rule out here. We'll say if case list is less than one, then redirect to main menu, because if there is no case, then no point continuing, right? And let's add another rule as well, and we can toggle it down, and let's say send a message saying no cases found, right? So we display the message and redirect to the main menu. Now if we have the cases, we need to display a dynamic question, asking them to select. So we'll say please select the or we can say select the case from the list below, right? And now it's a button. Entity will be object. So we'll display the list of cases, and then the person can select one, and that will be an object. So that is the reason we are choosing the entity as object. And where do you want to save? We want to save it to this case obj. That is where the case obj came in handy. Action type is a list variable, and then this is the list variable. So this is where it is asking you want to call an apex to display the list, or external service. You can hit an API, or you want to call a flow, but I'm choosing the list variable which we have already created. Then here it says which, so since it is an object, which value, or what you want to display to the client. So we'll say, okay, we want to display case number for him to select from, and then any backup rule. So again, we'll just redirect to error in case of anything else. Ask question and override the values. I'll select this one again. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It can be slightly overwhelming. I understand, but once you get your hands on it, you'll definitely find it much easier. So I'll just reiterate this part. A lot of things out here. So we'll select a dynamic question. We'll ask them to go through the list and select the case they want us to share the status for. And then this is basically the field name, or the field name from the object which you want to display as a list. So exclamation case number. Case number is the API name, and then in the curly braces. That is how we denote it. And then we'll say, okay, action type is from list variable. We'll give the name of the variable, and we'll say ask questions and display the choices. And then where to store the selected response, that will be object type, and it will be stored in the case object. So let me save it out there. Now once they have made the choices, we already have all the details. We'll go ahead and create a message and say status for your case, and I'll put a curly braces. I'll say the case obj dot case number is, and then I'll put exclamation. I'm doing case obj because that is the name of the variable. Dot status. Very good. Yeah, our bot is ready, and as part of the next steps, let's display another static question. That would be, can I help? Can I help you with anything else? And we can give kind of a menu, and we can say yes or no. And we are pretty much not going to do much with this one. I'll just create a new variable and say customer response. And then here we can show a menu. We can say main menu, transfer to the agent, and in chat. There you go. So the flow is ready. Now let's test it out. Let's activate it and test it. It will throw an error though. I'll show you why. So I have typed in hi. It says hi, I am Kizzy's bot, because this is the one, the name that we have given to the bot. It says enter your email. It says unfortunately a system error occurred. The reason it took us to the error handler is, the message in the error handler is unfortunately a system error occurred. And the reason for this is, if you go to the overview, the access is not there. So we'll have to deactivate the bot. You cannot change anything while the bot is active. So you can edit it, select a custom user. I'll select mine, just save it out, and let's also enable the logs. Activate it back again, go back and preview. Sorry. Yeah. Say hi. And put in my email. And it gave me the list of cases, and it will display the status. And yeah, if I say yes, it will take me to the menu again. So this is how you can configure the bot. This is a very simplified and a basic version of what you can do. It has a lot of power. You can use Apex, and write a lot of complex logics, and do a lot of cool things out there. So that was pretty much it from the presentation standpoint. Any questions?
Yes, Sanjeet, that was a great presentation. And
Awesome.
Patrick even noted that it was great. So we have three questions out there, at least as of right this moment. The first one is from Rashed. Um, he has a, I assume by his initials NPS,
Mhm.
nonprofit survey,
Mhm.
a survey app available on Salesforce App Exchange, and he
Mhm.
wants to know if it's possible to integrate it with Einstein Bot, and if so, what's the best approach to implement that?
Yeah, so I think App Exchange application you can probably not directly implement or execute it out there. I think you'll have to check with the app provider if they allow that access. But I don't think so that is possible without their access.
Does that answer your question, Rashed? I hope it does. You take yourself off mute if you want to talk. That's perfectly fine.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, we are the ISV service provider, and the Net Promoter Score survey is one of the solutions that we took to market for Salesforce customers.
Mhm.
And one of the questions came up from our development team is that is it possible to um, integrate Salesforce Einstein, um, chatbot
Mhm.
interact with our customer to solicit net promoter score survey, so that we can identify detractors, promoters, or passive or whatnot, right?
Yeah. So okay. So you are the ISVs here, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
in that case, I think you can do it. So maybe we can, chat offline on this one and, probably schedule a call and go over it and understand, what is exactly required. Maybe I can, share you some tips on that as well.
Okay. What is the best way to reach out to you, Sanjeev?
You can just message me on LinkedIn or you can note my email. I'll just put it on the chat out there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Sorry, Rashed, that you used initials for that. So
Yeah, no problem.
I apologize for not realizing you were talking about Net Promoter Score.
Uh,
Um,
no problem
Yeah.
at all.
And Rashid, we are also a ISV partner, so I can help you out. No.
uh,
Oh, okay, fantastic. Nice meeting you.
Likewise, Rashid.
Yeah,
Have a
I'm
good.
based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, great, great. Maybe at Reinforce, we can meet in person and discuss it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'll be traveling on Monday and I'll be there until Friday.
Great. I'll also be there on Monday. So let's catch up. Let's discuss it out there.
Sounds good. I like that.
Sounds good, man.
so the second question is from Yesh Yeshwanth. Yeshwanth. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Um, that person wants to know if you could please share insights on where we will utilize entities once created in Einstein Bot Builder with the use case. I'm pretty sure that your demo covered that, but maybe they still are questioning it.
Yeah. So entities you can create. For example, I just demoed from a color perspective. So if you suppose you're selling, uh, probably a car, right? And you have maybe 10 colors or 5 colors. You can put it out there in entities, and the customer cannot select any other option apart from that. That is where it is more of a validation perspective. So there are a lot of use cases out there, and I'll share you a link. You can go through that and sort of clear things up for you guys.
Does that answer your question? That would be great. He would love to have that list shared. I say he, I don't know. The person would love to have that list shared. um, the third question, let's see, is from Patrick. Um, he wonders if the bot builder flow runs as an SFDC flow under the covers. Just curious.
No, I'm not aware of that. A good, great question. I think I'll also have to explore on that now.
Yeah, no. So from what I went to the Atlanta AI Now
Oh,
Tor?
flow under the cover. Yeah. Pretty much. I also think the same, Patrick. It is kind of a superior version of flow, I would say, and that kind of runs undercurrent. And
Yeah.
flow runs on Apex, so it is all Apex at the end of the day.
Kashav wants to know, can we implement Einstein Bot on WhatsApp? And if possible, how can we perform that?
Yeah, Keshav, so you can do that. We have done it for a lot of our customers, and I demoed right that there was a channel setting. You can connect your WhatsApp to that channel using a digital engagement from Salesforce, and then connect that WhatsApp to your bots. Pretty easy, nothing too fancy out there.
That's an excellent question, by the way. And then, one of the follow up to that, if I may, real quick, is that when you do any type of transaction with WhatsApp and
Mhm.
Salesforce, and then any type of, is there any type of transaction fee or anything like that that happen or no? Do you know by any chance?
No, so we have done it for a couple of our customers, and there is no transaction fee for the templated messages out there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good follow up there, Rashid.
Yeah.
Stephen wants to know, are there any messaging components you would recommend for troubleshooting?
Sorry, can I read the message? I didn't get you, Melissa.
Yeah, it's the very last one. Are there any messaging components you would recommend for troubleshooting?
I didn't get the question. Stefan, can you repeat, please? Maybe elaborate a bit on it.
Maybe he wants more generally to know like what troubleshooting mechanisms are available.
Oh, got it. So event logs are helpful in troubleshooting. You at least know wherein which part of the dialogue is breaking. So if it is an Apex class, you can go there and debug it out, and if it is a flow, you can debug it out. So event logs is the mechanism you can use, and it gives you a JSON a kind of error message, so you can just parse through it.
Hey, and can I ask you about the event logs? Like, where do they live? Are they on platform? Like, is that
Yeah.
like
Yeah. So I'll just show you. I'll just share my screen again, and I'll just show
Yeah,
you.
please.
is there an
Uh,
bot event log object or something or?
so they primarily live. Yeah, I think there is an object, but they primarily for you to access it, you'll have to access it from the performance tab out there. Is my screen visible? Hello.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So it is an object, and you can also track it out from here. This is kind of where you can find all the logs. It gives you all the information out here. And when you select the particular error, it gives you an error.
This is kind of cool, though, right? I mean, every single transaction is being logged under that all session, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, from a troubleshooting perspective, that would be the first place where what you would think you're recommending the team to do any type of
Yeah,
trouble.
to be very honest, we have also faced quite some challenges troubleshooting. So it kind of takes you to the place where the error is, but error you'll have to find out. It gives you a context, it'll tell you this is kind of some error. But if it's an Apex class with say 1,000 lines, then you'll have to go through it. Or if you have a good try catch mechanism, then you can figure that out.
But does it at least point to the class or the flow, or does it at least point to the?
Yeah. It'll do it, and it'll also throw you an error message, saying null pointer or something.
Uh-huh.
Then you can figure it out. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's pretty helpful that way.
Okay. And so this object becomes like customers are not, of course, automatically licensed for Einstein Bot, right? Like that's an add-on upsell.
No, so bots you can connect with your chat. I don't think there's an add-on for that. You can just have a permission set, and just you can assign it to the profiles. That's it, or sorry, the users.
Hmm. Cool.
So I just posted a bit.ly link to our Atlanta, Georgia Dev Group chatter page. the it's a different location than where you would sign up for the meetings. So you can just request to join, and I will add you, and I'll post this meeting as soon as the recording finishes. So, Steven said enhanced bot has messaging components like form authentication. Just wanted to know what's recommended. Couldn't unmute. So,
Sorry, I'll just go through the message.
yeah.
Okay, so those are pretty, different kind of things. Form is basically for asking a question. Authentication is probably connected to an external, form probably wherein you can use authentication. I have not used authentication though myself, but yeah, that is what I guess it is.
Hopefully that answered everybody's questions. If there's anything else, I'll give it just another minute here. And I want to thank Sanjeet. That was an excellent presentation, some great questions, and I really appreciate all the time. And thank you very much.
Thank you. It was wonderful, and thank you for sharing. I'll definitely follow up with a couple of those things that Sanjeet and you provided, those resources. So again, thank you for putting this together.
Yeah, great
Thanks,
job.
Melissa. Thanks, Rashid.
Great
Thanks,
stuff.
guys. We'll catch up at Reinforce, Rashid. See you
All right,
there.
we'll do.
No
And
more
just
questions
to-
coming in, so I'm going to just say goodbye. Thank you very much, and everybody have a good afternoon or
And
evening.
just wanted to catch up, Melissa. So I think I missed adding that bots are free, but I think there's a limit on the number of conversations you can do with the bot. It is about 25 or 20 some limit on the conversations per day or per month. So anybody who is planning to implement, just check that out.
You mean the questions and stuff that you can ask it within one bot, or how many bots can be active?
No, it is per conversation per month. So I think it is 25 or 20 conversations per month if you don't have an add-on license, or it is free of cost, and then you'll have to purchase extra licenses going.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Yep.
Bye guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.